The biggest mistake that I see people make is assuming. Case in point, I had a young girl who was a singer out of Texas. One of our studio affiliates brought her and her mother and her grandmother actually into the office because it was sort of a family affair. Mom and grandma were bankrolling the thing, whereas you know, the studio affiliate was the guy who recorded it, and he basically brought her to us to take care of business. Now, we did the design for it, which was great, but the thing that she found out after she got the discs back was that the mastering studio had left the songs in a different order than they were laid out on the CD. So here's the, and they made the assumption that 2 and 2, equaled 4, and that the mastering studio was on top of how the order of the songs was supposed to be. So, unfortunately, their fault. We did our best to help them out on price and doing a rerun. But here's somebody who, because they didn't take the time to listen to their master prior to supplying it to us for manufacturing. Because if we're not doing mastering for you, we're going to do one thing and two things technically. Number one, we're going to run it through anti-piracy and make sure you're not sampling anybody without authorization. Number two, we're going to verify the physical integrity of the disc, that there's no damage to it, no scratches, that it's a pristine master that's going to make a perfect glass stamp, or a perfect glass master and a perfect stamper, so that we can make perfect discs for you. But one thing that I found a lot dealing with, not so much dealing with mastering studios and recording studios, but hearing my clients talk to me about what they're told by mastering and recording studios. Don't listen to the master, leave it alone, don't mess with it, you shouldn't play it at all. That's bogus. I mean, the first thing that you should do, and whether we're doing mastering or whether somebody else is doing it, is sit down in a quiet room, pair of headphones, no distractions, and listen to the disc front to back at least once, if not more than that. Because once we get it, you're going to end up like this girl with 5,000 copies of your songs out of order from the packaging. So, unfortunately for her, she had to unpackage all of them, do a whole another 5,000 run of bulk discs, have us yank the bad ones, insert the new ones, repackage them. They incurred shipping back to us costs for the new discs, cost for the repackaging. And that's a simple mistake that costs them a lot of money and a significant amount of time too. Artwork's the same. I'd say one of the bigger mistakes in artwork is making the assumption that just because your brother-in-law can do a really cool MySpace page and has Photoshop, that he can lay out your CD art. That's not always the case. Discmaker supports 6 standard art programs, and realistically most people nowadays tend to be working in CS4 and either Quark, Illustrator, InDesign. We do accept freehand, CorelDRAW, and we accept Photoshop for one particular reason. Everybody has it. Okay. When I first started here, definitely back in early 2000, we actually used to charge additional to accept Photoshop files, because the bottom line is Photoshop is not a layout program. Photoshop's a great image manipulation program. It can do the job, and it's definitely made some strides over the years as far as dealing with text and layers and all of that, but up until recently it's been kind of a problem, and even to this day, if you download the Photoshop template, there's a disclaimer on there that says this is for reference only. We've been trying to get them to take that off of there because it discourages people a lot, but I mean, that's the reason that we accept Photoshop now, is because it's such a widely used program. If you're confident laying out your artwork, if you're confident that the person that you're working with will do a good job, that's great. The other thing you need to watch out with for graphic design is somebody that's going to do it somebody that's a friend who's going to do it at a very low price, because that usually means it's going to be at a very low priority. I can't tell you how many projects that I've worked on that originally were supposed to start on a certain date and didn't start till several months later because the graphic designer dropped off the face of the earth. Because, you know, you're paying them $100 to do a job that we'd normally charge, you know, $700 for, and you're getting what you paid for. So as far as a matter of priority to that person that's doing the work for you. There's a lot of fine graphic designers out there. I'm not saying, you know, everybody should absolutely do their design with us. Our graphic designers, you know, I mean, that's what they do. They're in a room all day long doing graphic design. They do graphic design for CDs, so they're not, you know, somebody who's doing web work or, you know, magazine layouts and will do your graphic design because they know how to use the tools. They actually have experience laying out CD packages for artists. And the nice thing about our, you know, graphic design service and our mastering service is we guarantee it. I mean, basically, if we can't satisfy you with what we've done, we get to an impasse, and we basically come to a point where the only way that we're going to move forward is charge you more money because you've asked for beyond what we originally said we were going to pay. You know, you were going to pay for. Same thing with the mastering. You know, then you can go and get it done somewhere else, bring it back, and I mean, we'll refund you for the money for because we couldn't satisfy you. That's pretty much all there is to it. The graphic design service and the mastering service are both guaranteed.